Hi, Chris here. Today I want to talk a bit about Retrohistories, the series that I'm working on of stories about video games, developers and hardware. I want this to be kind of a progress update and an explanation for why the next episode is taking so long, but more than that, I want to talk about some of the ways in which I'm trying to improve this in later episodes, some of the ways I'm trying to raise my game. Okay, first of all, the next episode is now well into production. It's been almost a year now since the last episode, and this one isn't nearly finished yet, but it's coming along and I still aim to get it done by the end of the spring. The main reason behind that, aside from just having to do it in half an hour here and an hour there around my day job and other responsibilities, is that last year I got quite a way, probably 70-80% of the way, into researching and scripting a whole different episode which I've put on the back burner since then. That work isn't lost, of course. I'll still do that episode which was about Chris Roberts and Wing Commander at some point in the future. But this episode coming up I'm really trying to make a lot better than the last one. I'm making a very conscious effort to improve in areas that I thought that one was weak. Some of what I'm referring to is a couple of specific sequences in this video coming up that need to be executed in a way that I haven't really tried before. I want to try some animation, I want to try some 3D. So that's a couple of technical things that I'm throwing into the mix because I think it will make the best presentation, but also because I think it will force me to learn some new skill. But mostly I'm trying to do better in the writing. The first episode that I put out last year about Might and Magic had a very simple structure. There was a title sequence, there was a bit of an intro, and then it was just a chronological sequence of events in order and an abrupt ending 12 minutes later when I ran out of stuff to talk about. Maybe it kinda did the job, but it wasn't engaging. If you weren't already interested in Might and Magic, it wasn't going to make you interested. So this time I'm trying to build more narrative structure into it, more storytelling. Instead of just a sequence of events in order, have some proper narrative through line in there. Opening with a question and then following up on that at the end with some sort of an answer. For future episodes, I've got a key objective, and that's to try to identify in the sequence of historical events what is the compelling story, and then to try and build a film around that. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. What's the story of this next episode? Well, it's a story about a company that, after climbing about as high as they can go in their niche, makes a costly mistake but recovers by reinventing themselves, achieving massive mainstream success, in fact, but abandoning their most loyal fans in the transition. What they did must have been very difficult. They must have felt quite conflicted about it, but it was also, I think, one of the best decisions ever made in the history of the games industry. It not only saved the business, but it brought it much more recognition and opened doors to opportunities that they could never have previously dreamed of. And I think that story is just extremely compelling if I can do it justice. Oh, damn you, son. So in trying to build a video around a central storyline, I'm just going to focus on the stuff that's crucial to that story. If something isn't central to that narrative, maybe it's only worth a brief mention or doesn't belong in the video at all. There are also a few other little things. The first few seconds of a YouTube video are really important, so I'm not going to start with the title sequence. I'll do a cold open and sort of a minute's worth of content and then titles. That hopefully means that I can start with something more of a hook, and that will, I think, make a better video. Something else that makes this video a little different to the last one is that there exist a lot of video interviews of the people involved. So that means that I can bring people into the story in their own words, and I'm trying to do that as much as I can, and that's sort of a interesting scripting and editing challenge in itself. And I'm also trying to add a little bit more of my own voice to the video. I mean, little bits of commentary, little bits of opinion, not a great deal of it, but I don't want the editorial voice of this series to be a Wikipedia neutral point of view editor. Anyway, the video is happening slowly but surely, and I do hope to get it out before the summer. And I'm going to try and share more progress updates along the way as well. Anyway, that is enough talking. Here is a preview of the next episode of Retrohistories. Thanks for watching. Destiny, Bungie's magnum opus. The latest and biggest release from a studio which has produced a chain of massive hits. But where did this success originate? Halo wasn't the beginning, it was the start of Bungie's second act. Their first was a decade as an independent studio, a part of their history that's crucial to understanding who they really are. What is Bungie's story? It's one of metamorphosis, of a niche developer that turned into one of the biggest success stories in gaming, but only by turning their back on their original fans. Let's take a look at the prehistory of Bungie.